You didn't exactly have to be very smart to follow the plot lines of the Three Stooges. I mean, it was just, it was bubblegum for the brain.
Michael Chiklis has a movie coming out on Monday on ABC, the Three Stooges movie produced by Mel Gibson and his company. First small screen thing they have done after, of course, doing Braveheart. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Great. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Hey, first of all, congratulations on your new show, Daddy-O, debuting in the top 10.
Ah, you gotta love that, huh?
Yeah, you gotta love it even more.
Love that.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time with it, yeah.
Yeah, you and all the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire episodes in the top 10. It's not bad.
I imagine.
I think he's already
channeling Three Stooges
channeling
already.
some Curly for us.
Oh, I'm loving that curly guy, man.
When you heard
I
about
had
the
such a blast doing this.
when you heard about the movie, did you immediately say, "I got to play Curly"?
Right? Did you seek them or did they seek you?
Actually, I said, I can't do this. I went through such a horror show with the Belushi gig. I was like, that's what I need to do is play another dead icon.
When you say that, do you mean because you knew it would be up for such scrutiny and people would pick it apart? Or just...
more about, yeah, I guess so. But actually, when I read the script, my agent's a smart guy, and he's like, base it on the material. I read the script, and it was such a good script. And, I mean, let's face it, I got to do the clam chowder bit. So
now, which one was that?
Oh,
wait, was that where there's something in the chowder that keeps snapping at him?
The clam is eating his cracker.
And it gets his nose.
Right, it gets his nose.
Just, right. Yeah, I was like, I have to do this.
You had that wasn't even work. I mean, what a blast you had to have every day channeling, a stooge.
I will say, you know what, you're right. It really wasn't even, it didn't feel like work. Here we were down in Sydney, Australia, and those Australians have something going on down there, man. It's 5-to-1, women to men.
Mm-hmm.
Every beach is like topless or nude. It was weird. I just was like, are we working or what? What's going on here? Yeah.
Right.
Did you know a lot? Did you know before reading the script? Did you know a lot about the history?
No, that's the thing. I knew nothing about them personally. I just knew their work intimately, and I loved them.
Well,
but all I knew really about them personally was that Curly, Moe, and Shemp were brothers, and that Larry was, the friend.
Well, and it's kind of interesting because, like now, I mean, if you want to find anything out about any of your favorite celebrities, it's very easy. I mean, all the dirt is out there with all the tabloid shows, but back then, celebrities were able to lead quiet lives, and their skeletons were in the closet, and
right.
like in reading some of the information on this movie, like I didn't know that Curly, for instance, was a womanizer and had an alcohol problem.
I didn't either.
He was the most enigmatic, unknowable of the Three Stooges. He was a very introverted cat, believe it or not, until he drank, and that's when he came out, or until he performed, and he came out in that way too. He was a pretty unhappy man-child. He felt really insecure, and I think that he felt like a fat, ugly buffoon. The way he was portrayed in the show, so I think he overcompensated with the womanizing and the drinking and comfort with the food, So.
And didn't he also suffer from a lot of physical residual damage from the beatings that he took on film?
Sure, he got hit and smacked around quite a bit, and between that and there's so many pearls in the movie and things that we found out about them that are so interesting to me. He had that interesting walk, that amazing comedic gait, and that was a result of a hunting accident. He shot himself literally in the foot, and he limped.
Didn't know that. Wow.
Didn't you get injured on the set?
I got a nice cut on my forehead. I had a nice gash opened up in my forehead from Paul Ben-Victor, who plays Moe, when he smashes that radio onto my head.
Sure.
And,
Ouch.
the first time he did it, he kind of, he was afraid to really have at me, and it looked that way on the playback. So I said to him, "Go ahead, Paul. Just smash me with the thing, and let's make it work." And that was my fault.
How long did it take you to get the hand movement down? The one we all did in school.
Well.
I've been doing that since school.
Every guy.
So
what guy listening cannot do that? Leslie, give me see do it. Do it.
No, look at her. God.
Come on, Leslie.
No, but wait, but actually though, but
trying.
Michael, actually, and we talked about this earlier, and one of the women gave me a lot of crap for this, but you have to. The Stooges. I mean, it is a guy thing. Not to say that there aren't women who enjoy it, but
It's more of a guy thing.
It was much more of a guy thing.
You know, now that I've played the guy and I've been talking about it so much, I'm finding out it really isn't as much of a guy thing as you think.
But you don't see women.
There's a lot of chicks that are into the Stooges, man.
But you don't see women in bars going up to each other going, woo, 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 yeah, yeah. You know, you don't see women doing that. I mean, that's a
No, that's true, but they sort of laugh at it, and women love to laugh.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson is known to play a lot of pranks on movie sets.
Sure,
He's
Talk
very
about
facetious.
the big movie star.
Well,
Go ahead.
we have to talk about Mel Gibson. Come on. But did he pull any pranks on the set? Because he's
No,
been known to
that
do
boy
that.
didn't come down to the set.
You gotta
No
be kidding
way.
me.
He produced it. He didn't even show up.
Well, no, he couldn't because he was doing another movie, and then when he was supposed to come down, he had a family emergency with one of his kids.
One of his
So-
7 children. Yeah.
Yes, and
That is a family
actually,
emergency.
seriously, he did, and
Okay.
and it preempted him from coming down. But he was on the phone constantly. He was checking out the footage. He had, I mean, having Mel Gibson Godfather of production is obviously has its huge benefits because
Sure.
the guy, when he says, "Look, we need a yak," there's a yak there in like 5 minutes. So
Well, he's a Stooges fanatic.
huge, yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah, when we did the promotions in L.A. when we first got off the plane, he showed up and we shot a bunch of promotions together. And, we basically, our first encounter was, listen, your mother and my mother were both mothers. Whoop, 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 whoop. And we were smacking each other around. And, so we communicated in curly speak.
This interview isn't over. More after a quick break. You can also find it and more on the Morning X with Barnes and Leslie podcast. You're inside the best of the Morning X.